launched into the silence of space aboard a roaring column of flame. The James Webb Space Telescope now drifts in perfect stillness, 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. It orbits no planet. It circles no moon. Instead, it floats at Lagrange point 2, cosmic sweet spot where gravity balances like a tightrope walker between the Earth and the Sun. Out here, there's no atmosphere to blur its vision. No light pollution. It's just the raw, unfiltered dark of the universe. From this isolated vantage point, the telescope stares, not with eyes, but with mirrors so precise they can detect the heat of a bumblebee on the moon. Webb doesn't just look. Farther than any telescope before it, it looks deeper through time itself. Every image it captures is a glimpse into the past, a window into galaxies that lived and died billions of years ago. It is not a camera. It's a time machine. In the short time since it opened its golden mirrors to the stars, Webb has already rewritten what we thought we knew. It has revealed galaxies forming far earlier than our models predicted, atmospheres on distant exoplanets, and stars that shouldn't yet exist. Its data has baffled, inspired, and in some circles, terrified. But none of it compares to what it found next. The scan was routine. A deep field observation in an area of sky believed to be largely empty, just cosmic background radiation and the faint whispers of ancient light. These are the kinds of scans that reveal the oldest secrets. And sometimes things we weren't meant to see at first. It was just a blip, a flicker in the infrared. Too symmetrical, too structured. Something about it didn't make sense. The system ran diagnostics, then reran them. The signal didn't go away. Then the light came into focus, perfect angles, radiating heat with no visible source. No orbiting stars, no stellar nursery. Just structure, suspended in nothing.
Okay.
Monument to an unknown architect. Silence, confusion, and then alarm. Because what they were seeing wasn't in any database. Not in any simulation. Certainly not in any theory of physics. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't background noise. This was something very real. And that's when it appeared. Not a galaxy. Not a planet. Not anything we've ever cataloged, and whatever it is, shouldn't be there. In the vast nothingness Webb was scanning, something lit up but not in visible light. It didn't glow, it didn't flicker, and it didn't resemble anything we've seen before. Instead, it roared to life in the infrared, radiating a heat signature so intense. It rivaled the brightest quasars ever recorded, except there was no surrounding galaxy, no black hole, no star-forming region, just emptiness. And this, at first, scientists thought it had to be a data error. But the shape was too defined, too intentional. A geometric precision that nature rarely favors. Sharp edges, repeating angles, and near-perfect symmetry. It wasn't amorphous gas. It wasn't gravitational lensing. It looked built, and then came the distance. 13.1 billion light-years away. Whatever this object is, it formed just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, if it even formed at all. According to everything we know, complex structures like this shouldn't have existed at that time. It's not just improbable. It's forbidden by physics as we understand it. One astrophysicist simply muttered, "This thing isn't just old, it's impossible." But the real shock came next, because when they enhanced the scan and zoomed in, what they found shattered every model of how the universe is supposed to work. Within hours of the detection, internal channels lit up. One astrophysicist at the European Space Agency called it a statistical impossibility, something that breaks the odds, the rules, and possibly the universe. Another labeled it the most significant anomaly ever recorded by any telescope. Ever. And then, silence. A leaked memo, allegedly from within NASA's Goddard team, urged staff to avoid unauthorized public speculation. One line stood out: "Public narratives are not yet aligned with current analysis." Whispers began to spread. An unnamed JWST engineer voice disguised told a podcast, "We're looking at something. Constructed. I don't know what else to call it." Despite mounting questions, no agency has released an official explanation, and that silence is louder than any signal. Because when scientists don't know what they're looking at, usually talk. But this time they did. And while some scramble for answers, others think they've already seen this before, buried in ancient data long ignored. The scientific community fractured. One camp argues it could be a primordial megastructure, bizarre formation born during the chaotic infancy of the universe. Something natural, yes, but so rare and complex, it borders on the miraculous. Others aren't buying that. A second theory, far more controversial, suggests we may be seeing the remnants of an advanced civilization, a structure built not to live in, but to transmit or observe. A cosmic antenna, or worse, a surveillance post. Then, there's the third possibility. Stranger still, a time-fold, a wrinkle in space-time itself. What if the object isn't from the early universe, but somehow bleeding into it? Parallels to Dyson spheres, the Fermi paradox, and unexplained radio bursts from deep space are fueling debates in secret Slack channels and late-night observatories. Some call it nonsense, others whisper, "We're not alone." But just when the mystery seemed unsolvable, a second object appeared. Then, just as the data teams were beginning to question their own sanity, it happened again. Another signal, another structure. But this time it wasn't. In the same region, it was light years away, yet eerily identical. Same geometry, same impossible thermal signature, same silent presence in the void. And then, something even stranger. The two objects began to pulse subtle fluctuations in their infrared emissions. At first random, then unmistakably rhythmic. Synchronized. Not motion, not drift, but pattern, as if they were talking to each other. And more chilling than that, they began responding to cosmic background radiation, bouncing tiny echoes in perfect response to ancient noise from the Big Bang itself. A conversation with the universe. One Webb operator was overheard whispering, "This isn't random. This is behavior. And if it's behavior, not noise. If it's reaction, not coincidence." Then one question suddenly becomes terrifyingly real. What if this isn't just data? Some now believe these structures could be beacons intentionally left behind by a civilization so ancient, so advanced, that its relics still echo across time. A message not for us, but for someone or something else. Or worse, what if it's a trap, kind of cosmic bait, waiting for the first curious species to look back? JWST's mission has already shifted. New scans are being prioritized. SET is listening. NASA is coordinating with global space agencies in near real time, but no one knows what they're listening for, because if these objects are communicating, we don't know the language. We don't even know if we're meant to hear it. And that's the terrifying part, because responding, even by accident, could be the biggest decision our species has ever made. The question is no longer what are they. It's out there in the frozen silence beyond the moon. The James Webb Space Telescope drifts motionless, tireless, unblinking. It watches the cosmos, not with wonder, but with purpose. And now, with something watching back. For all our technology, all our theories, we are still a fragile species staring into the dark, hoping to understand, terrified of what we might find. Or worse, what might find us. Maybe we're not mapping the universe at all. Maybe the universe is mapping us new. Data is expected within weeks. More signals, more anomalies, more questions. But no answers. Theories shift by the hour. Scientists argue in whispers. Telescopes reorient, and humanity, for the first time in decades, dares to ask what if we're not alone. Until then, all we can do is wait. Wait. And listen. Beneath a sky that suddenly feels a little less empty and infinitely more alive.